Hello, welcome to All right. Welcome back to the Biker Protocol YouTube channel. I am Hollywood with Black Patch MC here in Las Vegas, and we've got
I am Picasso with the Eagle Riders MC here in Las Vegas. So yeah,
we're going to talk about the Public Relations Office. It's a mouthful. Public Relations Officer, or the Pro,
PRO.
PRO.
Yeah,
Not necessarily a voting officer,
No.
but in this modern age, I would have to say I hate that this position exists.
Yeah,
But it's,
but it needs to exist.
Through the world of modern technology, social media, it's a thing now, and especially being in club, being targeted by law enforcement and other clubs and whatever, you kind of have to have your social media locked down.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
well, and I mean, look, the reality is you're watching this video on YouTube, that's social media, right? I mean, it's kind of the truth. Whether you like it or not, we're kind of all ingrained in it now, right?
We're forced, unfortunately, to do it, but
for good and bad, right? I mean, mentioning YouTube, right? Raise your hand if you've ever used YouTube. I call it YouTube University. Raise your hand if you use YouTube University to fix your motorcycle at one point, right? We all have, right? So
YouTube University.
Yeah. So, we've all been there, right? But for different reasons. But for the social elements of it, there's a lot of reasons why it's important to kind of be involved with that, right? And, clubs from 20 years ago never would have thought this would be a thing, but here we are.
Definitely not. They took photos. I mean, it's kind of funny. You've got, we'll get to this, but you've actually got
all these
printed photos.
I know, it's
which
such
you
a
don't
rarity
see
now,
anymore. So that would be like, and what I think is cool about that is like, that's physical history of your club, which I think is cool. When we all have like thousands of photos on our phones, Facebook and all that. But, so what is a public relations officer? It's dealing with social media, your internet presence, your communication with even could be, I guess, in any kind of media event type stuff.
Well, we both know because we've been involved with this. So our club, at least, we've been on, I think, 6 reality shows and 2 documentaries and multiple news stories. You've been part of some of them.
Well, we should. Is there a link to it? Can we put that in the description? Maybe?
I'll put in the description some of the stuff that we've got. Yeah, we have it on our website. Yeah,
with Gordon Ramsay.
That one with Gordon Ramsay was. We should do a whole video just on the Gordon Ramsay experience. That was a crazy thing. But we've been, we've hosted the Peanut Mobile. We've done, we've been in the news. It's all kind of craziness, right? But the PRO is kind of helpful to basically be the communication point between any kind of media and your club. So they need to be kind of the face person for that. Whether it's being on camera, they need to be comfortable with that, or just arranging things like that. Because occasionally clubs get called up for things like that.
Yeah.
And so it's useful for that. But it all stems from having a presence somewhere online.
Yeah.
So the PRO,
you can't. Nowadays, it seems like you can't not be online. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. So someone like this is very helpful.
Yeah. Well, for a lot of reasons. So you might have a Facebook group, right? And definitely recommend locking that down a little bit, or at least watching who's coming and going from it.
Especially your individual members. Making sure what they're posting on the internet,
isn't too club newsworthy or club business, but also from people from spamming it and other
or just in the sense of keeping the culture alive, of not posting just stupid stuff with their cuts, doing other
disrespectful
people, exactly, like that's important to catch soon
to your own club and to other clubs.
Exactly.
But that's all important. So whether you're on and now it's like Facebook, and you got Instagram, and you've got YouTube, and you've got it's so many, and so it's kind of hard for individual members to kind of manage that. A lot of times people post up on their individual pages. It's kind of nice to have a source that you can go to. And a lot of times even having a website is helpful too. We do. I don't know if you do or not.
Yeah, we have a website.
So, that's helpful too, where you can post stuff like what you do, your ride schedules that are open to the public, who you are, what your kind of like a club mission statement is.
Exactly.
I know some clubs have posted bylaws online. I would recommend against that. But some clubs have done that, things like that, right? So it's having it's kind of having that media, public relations presence, right, online, and how it represents your club in a positive way. And this is helpful for getting members and helpful for getting your hang-arounds to come on rides. And it's good for all of that.
Unfortunately, it seems like nowadays, I mean, I'm sure for you as well.
Yeah.
When we post, we generally have to post our rides online because no one. I mean, you have your flyers when you go into the motorcycle shops, but I mean, sure, they'll get a few people here and there, but let's be honest, most people are online and Facebook looking for things to do. They've got your Facebook events and whatever meetup groups,
Yeah.
So you that's kind of where you're going to get exposure nowadays.
Yeah.
Aside from just hanging out in your local bar or local ride spot or popular spot, if you want to get like any kind of membership nowadays.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that's it.
Well, and there's different strategies
the
for it too.
Tinder for motorcycle
Oh
riding.
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Right. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
Swipe left, yeah.
it pretty much is, dude. Yeah,
But no, there's truth to that. And there's a lot of great websites that actually
Yeah.
do host club events and stuff. We've seen a lot of them in communities and regions and states and cities and all that stuff. But having some kind of a presence on social media is important because so in different ways for different reasons. So for example, on our website, we post all of our own personal public events that are not private events of the
yeah,
club.
of course.
And on there, we will tend to post things like, let's say we're going to your event, right?
Mhm.
So we'll post that we're going there. It's on the calendar. Here's where we're going. Here's how you RSVP, all of that.
Yeah,
We may not necessarily promote that on Facebook because you're already doing that, right?
yeah.
So that might be something there. We used to use meetup.com.
Mhm.
We without getting into a lot of details, didn't particularly care for their politics.
Mm.
The website's been bought and sold a zillion times, and so we didn't like how it operated anymore. We discovered a lot of places have switched to Eventbrite, which is where
Oh, yeah.
big
We've
website.
We've used that before, yeah.
Yeah. A little more complicated, but we noticed like all the Harley stores were using them. So
Yeah.
we said, oh, let's check that out. And it seems like that gets a little more traffic. It's a great place to get hangarounds, So if people are unfamiliar with your club, they don't know what you do, for any kind of public events that you're doing, it's a great place to promote it there. You'll find people that never thought to look for something specific, but they go in there and they start looking for motorcycle events and then they find you.
Yeah.
And we've discovered people have found us through either their local or sometimes traveling people that are coming through the area on a motorcycle and they look for events that are to that
Yeah,
area and
yeah,
they come on rides,
Definitely, yeah.
It's a great way to network with people. We're actually going to be, somebody came, I think through there, found us, came on one of our club events through there
Mhm.
and is now doing a blog on us. So
wow.
that'll be
Nice.
coming out soon. We'll make
Yeah.
the announcement on that soon. But we're going to be in featured in interview on a blog out of Europe, actually. This channel will be. So things like that happen. And again, it's about keeping all of this stuff organized. And we're always here. I don't know what my phone is, but we're always taking pictures with our
Yeah.
phones. The PRO's job is to kind of gather that, have using Dropbox or Google Drive or something, get photos from your members, get them organized and get them on social media because it shows that you're busy and you're active and you're doing stuff.
Going to these photos, because I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
I know why you brought them, but
Yeah.
like what your explanation is that's the other thing is nowadays, when you had your roll of film for 36 exposures,
Yeah.
like you picked and choose your shots, and now we just snap
away like crazy, yeah.
And half the time nobody ever sees those photos,
Right.
And that's someone like this would be good to be able to get them out in the public, like you're saying,
Right.
And club history and events, like over as your club grows, you're going to have these events and times you've all gotten together, and it'd be nice to remember.
Oh, it's great.
Or new members coming in going,
it's like, wow, look at all the stuff you've done.
You guys
Honestly,
done a
that's
lot.
where this started from.
Yeah.
So we used to, I'll see if I can get some video up on our screen here for this. So we used to have, when we first built our clubhouse, I used to go in and I would, I was kind of our PRO at the time. I just kind of did it. But I would take all the photos from my phone or anybody else's, and I would just send them to Walmart or Walgreens or whatever, just get them printed. They don't cost anything. They're really cheap. And we would just hang these. We had this big board and we had paper clips on it. It was like a bunch of wires and we had paper clips. It took like no work to put this up.
Yeah.
And we just hung all our photos up
Yeah.
there. And whenever people came in to, just to the clubhouse, it was the first thing they went to because they'd see this wall of photos.
That's fun going on to your guys' place. I'm always looking at the photos you
Yeah.
guys hung on the wall.
Oh, it's great.
You have the video screen.
So that's what we
it,
transitioned to. So it's easier now than printing this and hanging it and all the hassle with that. So now we have a big screen TV.
Yeah.
And so when we're not using it to watch like hockey games, whenever we have events, we take these same photos and we just run them on a slideshow.
Yeah.
And we just run it on TV, has our videos on there, our photos and everything. So it accomplishes the same thing with a lot less work.
And that kind of goes back to like staying relative in the community and showing people you're doing stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like we said, unfortunately, Facebook, Instagram, all those social media outlets are kind of like the bane of our own existence, but
Yeah.
they're like a requirement in a lot of ways. You might as well take advantage of it to show, hey, this is what we're doing. And then other clubs, believe it or not, are looking at that. They also use it for other purposes
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. So going back to saying like being careful what you post, and
Yeah.
someone like a PRO would be in charge of managing that. We've actually had a member years ago that was posting stuff without getting the details, and a certain place that wasn't supposed to be posting, didn't know they were taking photos, and we had to, crack down on that.
Yeah.
So you can get in trouble as well if you don't have someone managing that.
But on the other side, we've taken photos of events that we've gone to,
Mhm.
and the other clubs. This was where we went to it was a pretty big event for a 1% club, and they didn't take a lot of photos of their event.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
called us up,
Yep.
and we hadn't posted anything online. And like, we know you were walking around with a lot of cameras. Is there any way we can get a couple photos
Yeah.
of the board?
Yeah.
You know, I know you're whatever took a picture of a bunch of us at the bar. Do you have that photo? And we've sent clubs other
Oh,
photos.
yeah.
So
We've
that's
done
happened
the
too.
same. Yeah, definitely. It's the history. I think it's the modern day photo album. Would be Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately that's what everybody's looking at. They're sitting down at their coffee table where the photo album would be
Right.
on their phone.
Yeah. Now we put these in albums.
Yeah, looking at stuff that people are doing, at stuff they've done. Every once in a while, I've got like I'm sure you've got plenty more photos probably than me. I've got like 60,000 photos, not club related.
Wow.
But
Oh, yeah.
I've kept them I've scanned photos from
Sure. Oh,
high
yeah.
school
I
and
got it.
stuff. And
Terabytes and terabytes and terabytes.
and
yeah.
it's fun. And strictly speaking, more on the motorcycle club aspect, it's fun to go back, and I've looked at like our trips to Arizona Bike Week and stuff, and go,
Yeah.
oh, those are some
That
good
first trip
times.
to
and
Sturgis.
all the crazy drama and the bikes broken down and all the. It's fun to look back on.
Oh
it,
yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
it creates a history. That's what makes clubs I think exist, is your history. If without history,
Well,
you got
and
nothing.
they've done studies that when people have home fires, when their houses
Yeah.
catch fire, the first thing they do to run into the fire, to just first thing that they say, other than like a pet or a family
Yeah.
member, is they say their photo album. So yeah.
Now it's just gonna be get my phone.
Yeah, get my phone, right. Yeah, my iPhone's inside. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
all uploaded to the internet. That's another thing. Is we kind of talking about it, the privacy of it. If
Yeah.
all these photos are uploaded to the internet, everyone's got access to it if
Yeah.
they want to.
That's and
there's
they have to be
ways
careful of that
people
too.
do that. So you got to be careful. You don't want to have some hacker come along and
Right.
expose every single intimate. There's a lot of photos I'm sure every club takes that they don't make the internet,
Yeah.
but they want them for keepsakes.
Right. So you keep
Um,
them separately.
Yeah. So
But even more than just photos, one of the things our PRO is now doing, it's kind of a new thing, is when people in the club have birthdays, they'll go online, they'll
yeah.
say, "Hey,
Yeah.
happy birthday to Hollywood!"
Uh-huh.
Put a little graphic up. We use Canva for that, in case if
Mhm.
anybody's wondering. But it works great for that, and it's a cheap. There's a free version and a paid
Yeah.
version, but either one's great. But it's great for doing things like that, and makes your members feel important and
Of course,
welcomed,
yeah,
and
yeah.
things like that. So they maintain a database of everybody's birthdays,
Yeah. And then
anniversaries, and things.
so I would say thinking of them as like a marketing agency of
Mhm.
of one type thing.
Right.
So club events or charities, whatever,
Yeah.
they'd be working with possibly like banners, organizing, talking to the charities for their kind of marketing,
Right.
like getting them to share the flyers or whatever you got going on.
Well, and that's why it's important for your PRO to also have an archive of photos like a short list of photos
yeah.
or video that they can send out to any media outlet if it's
Yeah.
requested. So like, hey, we're doing this thing with you guys. We want to promote you on our website. It's important for them to be able to send
Mhm.
something out right away that somebody else can use to promote your
Yeah.
event, or that you're doing a joint event or something.
Yeah.
So it's helpful also to have your PRO be good in graphics too. They
Mhm.
don't have to be like a master in Photoshop, but like I said, Canva is a great website because it's easy to use. It doesn't cost a lot, and they can drag and drop things. And so there's ways that you can make things easy with
Yeah.
websites like that. Not trying to give them a plug because they're not a
We're not
sponsor of the show. Yeah,
sponsored, yeah.
we're not sponsored by them, but they are a great website, and I recommend them. And there's things like that you can do to send outbound stuff if you need to.
Yeah.
So your PR needs to be a little familiar with this kind of thing, because they just do.
Yeah.
It kind
You
of
know,
goes with the territory.
videos
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
thing, making little Instagram stories of
Yep.
when you guys are out and about riding or attending events.
For sure.
I want to say though, like this isn't a traditional position
No, not at all.
by any means.
It's become that more now.
Yeah,
as you said.
this is because of modern technology, social media.
20 years
Um,
ago, this was not
yeah,
even a thing. Yeah.
and there's a lot of clubs that say you are not on social media.
Mhm. Yep.
If you're in this club, you do not have a Facebook or an Instagram or
In which
or
case, you
whatever.
don't need this person.
Yeah, and that's one thing too, because there's bigger clubs that have a bigger microscope on them.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
but if you're, a club that likes to be in the spotlight in terms of just being out there, wanting, and preserve your history,
Yeah.
someone like a PRO might be
And
useful.
the last thing that I can think of that sometimes they're required to do is keep things like flyers,
Mhm.
make the flyers for your club. Might even be keeping flyers from other clubs and working
Yeah.
with your sergeant at arms, your road captain to get events posted and things like
Mhm.
that. So they might be kind of that go-between of getting artwork or designs or things like that, especially digital, because a lot of clubs, not, we all know the flyers we all hand out, but a lot of clubs promote things online. And so, we have to get that stuff too. And so many times I've seen graphics come through other clubs that like, come to our event, and they don't have the date, the time, it's kind of funny, right? But it might be the PRO's job to make sure that they get that information.
And I know it probably varies between clubs, but would you say that requires a flash to say PRO?
I've seen it.
You have. I have personally have not seen it.
I have seen it. I've seen it more than once. I think it's a club thing.
Yeah, of course.
Personally, me, I'm not, let's just say I'm the PRO for my club. I personally wouldn't wear a flash for that, right? So that's just me. I don't feel like I have to have this. For some people, it's like an ego thing. I think I want to have a flash that says I'm this, I don't know. I don't subscribe to that. To me, it's kind of like, just because you're doing a role doesn't necessarily, one of the other positions, we're not going to talk about it today. We have a quartermaster, right? Because we have a clubhouse, and the quartermaster's responsibility is to make sure there's beer and soda and paper plates and, whatever is involved with maintaining the clubhouse, right?
Definitely.
Making sure the floors are clean, making sure it's ready for our poker nights, whatever. That's their job, but that's not something we would put on a
It's almost like, sometimes to encourage people to do something, giving them a title helps.
Right. But then everybody gets a trophy, and, what's the point?
True, but I mean, when you feel you have a title, you feel more of a reason to actually want to do something with it.
Correct.
Instead of, we've had our share of, like, hey, can you go print this, flyer or do this and that? And if they're like, well, it's not my job.
Right.
Sometimes.
Well, and it's also helpful for, like, let's say we're in an event, right? And you're the PRO for your club. Somebody can say, hey, talk to my PRO, right?
Exactly.
And then they see the name, they see the title, then they know it's an official thing. So you can see pros and cons on this on both sides.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm just stressing because, being biker protocol, it's not necessarily a quote unquote protocol. It's just a part of the culture, modern culture.
Correct. Yeah.
The modern.
And I think you hit it right on the head. It's modern culture because, like anything, times change, right? I mean, club culture in the 50s is different than it was in the 70s and so forth, right?
Yeah.
So things do change. And I know some people are resistant to change, but this is the world we live in.
You have to, if you want you'll see this, if you're starting a club, you will see that as you go, if you don't adapt, you will fade away.
For sure.
Unfortunately. And a lot of the older clubs, they have adapted, and that's why they're still around. And I mean, in our own club, we've seen that where, you either adapt with the times, whether it be having someone like this or with social media and all that stuff, you would either adapt or you fade away. That's it's natural progression of life. So
I mean, that's true in business too. It's no different, right? So
so that's that.
If you have any questions about the PRO position that we haven't talked about, we'd love to hear it. Does your club have a PRO? We'd love to hear if it does. Or maybe you're thinking about putting somebody in. Maybe this helped kind of answer some of those questions. So so if you have anything to do with anything on this, please leave it in the comments. We love to hear from you. And of course, we like to answer questions in future videos. We have a bunch more coming up on that too. So, so before we kind of sign off, we got to do our traditional shot.
This time we're doing something normal.
Yeah, I know. Something.
Just a little bit of.
Sorry, I keep trying to kill him. I know. Oh, that's not so bad. Okay, so keep the shiny side up. Also, if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe to the video. You can do that right down below. Click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you get notices of all our future videos, which come out typically every Friday afternoon on Vegas time. So, so cool. Thanks again for watching. We hope you enjoy this channel, and keep the shiny side up. We'll see you on the next video.
Peace.